Hi, my name is Brett Ullman. Welcome to Navigating Everything, the channel where I try and help you navigate aspects of tough topics like parenting, mental health, how to be a better man, amongst other topics. Today I want to tell you my top 10 books on the topics of habits, change theory, and personal growth. We might call it self-improvement. In the past year, I've started researching for a new talk I'm going to do for men. I figured the best place to start was to look at how to make habits stick. It sent me down a long road of reading 30 books, starting 20 others and abandoning them as just they were not what I was looking for. But if I had to encourage you to read certain books on this topic, this list would be my absolute favorites. Number 1, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Probably my top book if you wanted somewhere to start on this topic. Small changes done over time make big changes in life. I have more highlights for this book on my Kindle than maybe any other. This book really helped motivate me on the topic of habits. Highly recommend. Number 2 is called Tiny Habits by Fogg. Now, this book was a very close second for me. Love it. Very similar to Atomic Habits, but BJ really goes into detail about the process of reading habits and how we actually do it. How do we actually look at the habits in our lives and change them? Number 3 is a book called Upstream by Heath. Now, the concept here is the idea of looking at why things are happening. The book begins with the parable of people sitting beside a river, and you hear a shout of a child in the water as the river takes the kid down, and this person rescues it. Then another child, and the person rescues it, and then another. By the time, I think it was the third kid is in this river, one of the friends leaves the group and starts walking upstream. And when asked, where is he going? He says, I'm going to go upstream and tackle the guy who's throwing all the kids in the water. Do you see the thought process here? Sometimes we are dealing with putting out fires as opposed to stopping the fires from happening in the first place. So a little different thought here than the books on habits, but a really great context on this topic of change. Number 4 is actually an acronym, ADKAR by Jeffrey Hiatt. ADKAR might sound weird, but it stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. And the quote says, ADKAR is an acronym that represents the 5 tangible and concrete outcomes that people need to achieve for lasting change. Number 5, Start With Why by Sinek. This was another one I absolutely loved. I also watched a few of his YouTube videos on this book, and there's actually a TED Talk, which if I'm correct is the 3rd most watched TED Talk ever on this. Now you'll actually find YouTube videos on all these books kind of explaining just the core parts of the books. But the idea of this book is that if you want to inspire others, you need to help them find out the why they're doing things. Simon says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Really great thought. Number 6, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This would just be the classic book on self-improvement. 7 habits, like habit 1, be proactive. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind, and so on. Really great read. Probably one of my favorite books that I've reread a few times over the years. Number 7 is called The Power of Habit by Charles Dudley. The Science of Habits. Cue, reward, cue, routine, reward, a kind of bit of a conversation on the brain. This would be similar to the first books I talked about, like Atomic Habits and Tiny Habits, but a little bit more of the science behind it. Number 8, now I don't know, people might think I'm leaving the conversation, but I think these books are part of it. They're just different, kind of like different spokes on a wheel. Number 8 is BRENÉ Brown's book called Rising Strong. Now, I put this in this category, and I love it. It's the idea of recovering from failure, not being held back from your past mistakes. And she walks through her 3 distinct phases of this. Number 9, I'm just going to give you an author, Malcolm Gladwell. Anything from him. What I love about all of his books is that he looks at the world from a very unique perspective. In all of his books, he's trying to take the complexities of these different things and situations and phenomena in life and make it easily understandable for regular people like you and me. I think it adds to the conversation on change when we can look at situations, businesses, society, and ourselves in a different way. If you're wondering which books to start with, I would start with The Tipping Point, then Talking to Strangers, then Blink, Outliers, and David Goliath. That's just my order. You can read them however you like. And the last one's called The Ripple Effect by Dr. Greg Wells. I actually have this one with me. This is the only book I don't have on Kindle, so I can show it to you. But the byline of this is very simple. Sleep better, eat better, move better, think better. The chapters then walk through all of these areas, looking at the idea that if you make, again, habits, small changes into your life, these habits in time lead to better you. It's the idea of looking at increasing your health and your fitness. And these things are all rooted in the ideas of change and habits. Love it. I actually promote this book in my talk on mental health every time I speak. Now, there's a few notable mentions. One I would just say Leading Change by John Kotter. Looks at change from more of a business standpoint, but you can extrapolate that into our own lives. And the other one is called Sacred Cows Make the Best Burgers. Again, the name of this book is just probably one of my favorites, looking at it from more of a business standpoint, but sacred cows make the best burgers. You get the analogy kind of with that. I hope this video has given you some ideas and thoughts for your next book to read. I'd love to hear if you would add any to my list. I'll talk to you soon.